Good morning. I'm Angelo Chatadaya with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Thousands of commuters could be left stranded from today as more than 5,000 maxi-taxi operators prepare to begin a 3-day shutdown. The action is expected to disrupt schools, businesses and workplaces across the country, with many passengers expressing concern over the impact. Maxi-taxi officials say the issues they want addressed include escalating crime, PH drivers taking their passengers, an increase in the speed limit from 65 kilometers per hour to 80 kilometers per hour, millions of dollars owed to operators for transporting school children, and the deplorable conditions of many transport hubs. CNC3 News reached out to Transport Minister Eliza Kerr on the impending shutdown, and while our message was read, no response was received up to news time. Meanwhile, business leaders are warning of significant economic fallout, with thousands of commuters expected to be affected, as well as major commercial hubs. President of the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce, Kiran Singh, warns that while the operators may have legitimate grievances, the shutdown itself risks deepening economic strain at a time when businesses are already experiencing weakening trading conditions.
If it goes ahead as planned, businesses may see some challenge to remain open if workers are challenged in terms of getting transport to get to work. The maxi taxis, as we know, they are vital cog in the wheel of transport nationwide. The PTSC is not adequate to take the capacity of passengers on a daily basis to their destinations. And the maxi taxis therefore play such a vital role.
Downtown Owners and Merchants Association President Gregory Aboud is warning maxi-taxi operators to be careful with the scale and the impact of their planned 3-day shutdown, saying such actions could backfire if commuters are forced to find alternative ways to travel. An 80-year-old woman is today pleading for help in finding her son, Umadat Ramcharan, who has been missing for 3 months. The mother of 10 says Ramcharan had received death threats before he disappeared and had told her he feared for his life. He lives in Friendship Village, St. Madeleine, and was last seen in February. His mother says they know who made the threats to her son, and a report was made to the St. Madeleine police station. However, the lack of feedback from police has led her to believe they are not treating the disappearance of the 53-year-old father of 4 seriously. She is now turning to the public for help.
I telling you myself, I don't know. One meeting and I say he's alive. One meeting and I say maybe they kill him and throw him. I don't know. Every day I get up and I just watch for him to see if he come, or if I hear he calling, or if I hear he whistling. I don't hear nothing. Nothing I don't hear.
Anyone with information is asked to contact the St. Madeleine Police Station or 800-TIPS. Well, this has been your 6 a.m. news headlines. Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour.
Trinidad and Tobago, a chance to look at the city, and yes, that's Saharan dust. It's been that way for the entire weekend. Yesterday especially was extremely, I would say, severe, and anyone with respiratory issues, I think you'll have to obviously take precaution, and even more so, I would say, this morning, and of course, good morning, one and all. Let's get the ball rolling on this Monday morning. This morning, it's one where, for those who are traveling into the city or any part of the country, based on what's planned via the maxi taxis and their potential 3-day strike, it's going to put a serious spoke in the wheel for the traveling public. We are in exam season. There are folks who need to get from point A to point B, and we will be treating with that this morning. We will be talking with a representative from indeed the Maxi Taxi Association to really unpack what's the plan, and if more so, everyone is on board, because you know, at the end of the day, they can plan this big 3-day strike. It's not, for it to work, everyone and all hands need to be on deck, and everyone needs to stay home. So the question is, are there anyone, or at least is anyone willing to break ranks, as it were, and come out to work? So let's find out. We'll get some details. And Edie Stewart joins us inside the first hour also, the president of the Nursing Association, to speak primarily on this chickenpox outbreak we're hearing about as it pertains to healthcare workers. and TB. That's the other talk that's going around. There's been a voice note that was circulating, so Edie will give some perspective. Let's get the ball rolling. It's Monday. We're going to run in and get the show started, not only on a brand new day, but also a brand new month. It's June. June 1st. You could imagine. See you soon. Let's get the ball rolling. Yes, running into a brand new day, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to the Morning Brew. It's June 1st, it's Monday, and it's the perfect, well, listen, once you're alive, that's a good start. That you're off to a good start. You're above ground. But I can safely say when we consider June 1st, it signifies almost like the half of the year, right? We are already now halfway through 2026. And as my producer would have reminded me, the start of the hurricane season. Definitely we need to be mindful, we need to pay attention, and as always every year, even though yes, we are the most southern of the islands and most of our brothers and sisters a bit more north of us are the ones impacted, we also need to pay attention, mind our business, and put all measures in place. Prevention, as they say, better than cure. And that's a saying from the elders who are clearly wise. We have known that for years. So just had to put that in place and just remind you, it's the start of the hurricane season, so let's be ever vigilant and ready. Good morning, TNT. Jason Williams signing on for this latest installment. It's our short week. Thursday's a holiday, but we're here with you for the entire week. We'll be doing a shortened version of the program. Of course, we're coming off the heels of the Indian Arrival Day celebration last Saturday. I hope you had a great time. But now we unpack what's making the front page and the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian and just making the rounds in terms of major talking points. And the big one is this 3-day strike. It begins today. I can tell you right now, as it pertains to the bus route, lots of TTPS officers, traffic branch officers out there, whether it's just their normal random patrol or roadblock per se, but they're out and about. And from what we are seeing, of course, this is some file footage. It's really quiet from all indications very early. It seems that many, they have answered the call to stay home. Now it's day one. There's going to be a day 2 and a day 3. Now Thursday's a holiday. So in a way, looking to shut down the place for, let's say, the majority of the week. Because based on this strike, and if it goes well, the only time these maxi taxi workers, well, the drivers will come out, would be on Friday. And I've been informed, you know, I'm a man on the ground, huh? When Vikash Kisundat makes his way to the program this morning, he's the Route 3 Maxi Taxi Association president. Huh? I will ask Vikash directly if this talk of egg and dung maxis is something he would have heard about. That's the word I received from my groundsman. Apparently there's this talk that if anybody jump out themselves and decide to hit the road to take passengers to and fro, men within the association in certain strategic locations willing to, well, I don't know if egg and dung or maxi will cause any kind of person to stop their trade, but it will be a messy situation. So I need to find out, because that's at least something I was hearing. If there's any validity to that, and then of course, Edie stepping in with the chicken pox and TB concerns with healthcare workers. There was this voice note circulating that, hey, you know, people under pressure. We're hearing Grandy. There have been some staff under a little pressure on that side. So Edie will clear the air and set us straight as to what's the latest concerning that development. So I'm watching other stories here on the front page really fast before we head to the back page. TNT probes, well, the TTPS probes death threats against police officer. He received an envelope with bullets in it and his name. That will ruffle anybody's spirit. And we rebuke that kind of threat, that kind of action. You know, that certainly will not make someone that's going to do the exact, listen, you could never feel good about getting that kind of threat. That is a direct threat in your life that will really shake up your cage, cause lots of emotional and psychological distress. And I hope they probe and could get to the bottom of that. Also, TNT confident on securing the UN Security Council seat. That story with the Foreign Affairs Minister on page 7. Let's head to the back page. When last you tell me that we take a flight, go on somewhere just to be target practice for a team getting ready for the World Cup, do that man TNT. 5 from South Korea. Now I know South Korea is not no pushover. Proper team with proper players, men who have been plying their trade in various leagues, a well-oiled machine, but I just find like, I don't know. It's a bit heartbreaking. Let's head to that back page because we're seeing a picture here from the friendly that transpired on a Saturday between South Korea and our home team, Trinidad and Tobago. Granted, it wasn't a full squad. We lie down and we get 5. Also, Hetmeyer in despite poor IPL form. Windies name a 15-man ODI squad to face Sri Lanka. And let me just go back to football really fast and say, yes, as an Arsenal supporter, it did hurt. It really was a sting with that loss, especially on penalties. Congrats to PSG. I'm a fair person. I enjoy winning, but I'm also a man who, when it comes to a loss, I show class, I show character. You can't win them all. Yes, it was tough. I think it's a chance for that team to build some more character and to understand that when it comes to the business end of a tournament, you can't go tentative. I mean, the possession was more, PSG had more possession, more ball, more of the ball, more passes. So deserved winners. But for the Gunners, I guess the focus next year will be on the league again, because there was a massive celebration in North London yesterday. Massive, massive, massive. And we celebrate, but we regroup and get ready for the next season. And hopefully we can go for the title again, but take it a step further and win our first. Still, we don't have a Champions League in the closet just yet. But all Arsenal supporters, lift your head up high. What a great season. What a great season. We're back. And it will take time as it pertains to the Champions League, but I believe, sincerely, we will live to see the Arsenal, the Gunners, lift that Champions League trophy, one of the toughest trophies to win in all of football. And speaking about trophies, in a couple of days, World Cup 2026 is going to start. So I know lots of discussions will be around the football. The NBA finals around the corner too. Yeah, that's right, Spurs and the Knicks. So for the sport lovers, have a time. Have a time. This is your season. Let's see what's happening via the brief. Now, as promised, our boss report is around the corner, but before that, we say congratulations here to Sister Mandalena Fields, 100 years young. Of course, she celebrates here with the past students of St. Joseph's Convent. And we want to say congratulations there to Sister Fields, 100, going strong, well done. Also, cultural icons recognized at the Indian Food Festival. That's right. Remember, the Meena House boss was here to talk about it. That's Umesh Meena. So I'm seeing Drupati being recognized. Good morning, Drupati. I haven't seen Drupati now in a minute, quite a while, and she's one of my favorites. So we always have good interaction, and I can safely tell you, Drupati, she have like what we call in Trinidad a sweet hand. Oh, her food is tremendous. So good morning to Drupati. She's from, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Rock Road, Pinal. So good morning, Pinal, and good morning to Auntie Drupati, yes? Let's take the pause. We come back, the boss report is next, and then later, Edie Stewart. And then we touch base, Edie from the Nursing Association, and then we touch base with the president of the Maxi Taxi Route 3 Association. Our first hour, action-packed. It's ahead.
Let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday.
your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the second floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The message of peace and harmony. The name Islam literally means peace, amity, and concord. It is therefore the desire of the message of peace and harmony to highlight the true essence of the teachings of Islam. Hence, a weekly TV program on Fridays on CNC3 at 5:30 a.m. Love for all, hatred for none. Assalamu alaikum.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
All filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
CEO of the Brew Securities Limited, Surudi, joins me to share the latest via the Boss Report on this Monday morning. Surud, welcome and good morning.
Good morning, GW, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to the Boss Report. Well, this week we continue to dissect first quarter results, and today we're speaking about Grace Kennedy Limited as well as Unilever Corporation Limited. Now, both groups that have reported improved earnings in overall, with some fine details in between. Let's take a look at what those groups would have reported for their first quarter and what investors might expect in the coming months ahead. Turning firstly to Grace Kennedy Limited, well, for their first quarter of 2026, the group would have reported a diluted earnings per share figure in TT dollar equivalent of 10.6 cents per share, which was a 6.3% improvement from the 9.9 cents recorded in that prior comparable period of 2025. Driving that performance was an improvement of 7.4% in total revenues, moving from 1.97 billion odd TT equivalent to just under 2.12 billion TT dollar equivalent. Expenses also up 6.3% from 1.89 billion to just over 2.01 billion. Profit from continuing operations improving a very healthy 22.5% from 132 million to 162 million. After considering non-controlling interest, net profit attributable to equity holders ultimately increasing that 6.1% from 99.1 million to 105 odd million for that first quarter in TT dollar equivalent, of course. Now, when we take a look at segment performance for Grace Kennedy, there were some notable changes as well as some fairly stable segments. Money services, for example, maintained its relatively same level or degree of profitability over the comparable quarters at around 22 million TT equivalent. Food trading, the group's largest segment in terms of profit before tax contribution, marginally declined just about 1.2% from 111 odd to 110 odd million TT dollar equivalent. The main changes in terms of positive drivers came in that banking and investment segment, which almost doubled, well, in fact doubled, increasing just over 100% from 11 million TT odd equivalent to just about 22 odd million TT dollar equivalent, as well as insurance, which grew just around 10%, going from 21 million in that prior comparable period in terms of profit before tax in that first quarter of 2025 to just around $23 million TT dollar equivalent, of course, in that first quarter of 2026. Also impressive in terms of GKC's performance for this first quarter of 2026 was a recovery in its margins or profitability margins, operating profit margin in that pinkish segment, recovering from 6.7% in that prior comparable period to just about 7.7%, while profit before tax margin also improved from 7.1% to 7.4%. So in terms of all of the indicators with respect to revenue growth as well as operating profit margins and profit before tax margins, it does make for good reading for Grace Kennedy investors. So at a price of $3.58, the stock is trading at a price earnings ratio of about 12 times, which is slightly above the conglomerate sector average of 11 times and offers investors a dividend yield of 2.8%, which is below the sector average of 4%. However, one of the important drivers in terms of Grace Kennedy is that it does remit its dividends to investors in US dollars. So on the basis of steady revenue growth, those continuing higher margins, the US dollar dividends, but of course overlaid by continuing economic uncertainty in the regional space, was maintaining a market weight rating with a stable outlook on Grace Kennedy for the time being. Turning very quickly to Unilever Corporation Limited, or UCL. Well, for its first quarter of 2026, the group would have reported a total earnings per share figure of $1.29, which is a whopping 108% increase from that 62 cents reported in the prior comparable period. Now, take this with a grain of salt. There was a fairly heavy, significant one-off gain from discontinued operations baked into that earnings result. Earnings from continuing operations actually declined 9.1% from 44 cents in the prior comparable period of 2025 to 40 cents in the most recently concluded first quarter of 2026. Revenues from continuing operations, however, were up 15.2% from 61 to just about 70 odd million. Operating profits after restructuring costs declined 11.1% from 16.8 to 14.9 billion. And overall profit for the period, which does include that one-off gain, did improve that 108% from 16.2 to 33.7 million. Now, when we take a look at revenue trends for UCL, we can see that it has made for good reading over the past few comparable periods, increasing 6.7% over the first quarter 2024 to 2025, and now most recently 15.2% from first quarter 2025 to 2026, growing from that 61 to 70 odd million dollars. And from a profitability perspective, however, not as strong in terms of margin strength. We can see that gross profit margins fell from 50.7 to 42% in that greenest segment. Operating profits as well declined from 20.3% in that yellowish column to 21.3%, meaning that for every dollar of revenue generated in the eyes of investors, the company is translating that into marginally less returns in terms of operating profit rather, when we look at that yellow segment. So at a price of $15.94, Unilever does trade at a price earnings ratio of 6.9 times, which is below the sector average of 8.5 times. Now, that includes those one-off gains. Excluding the impact of one-off gains, that price earnings ratio would be closer to just about 20 times. And it offers a dividend yield of a very healthy-looking 59.2%, compared to the sector average of 10.8%. Again, for investors, take this with a grain of salt, because that dividend yield includes fairly significant special dividends which would have been declared and paid based on the divestment of certain business lines. So on the basis of higher revenue generation, margin moderation, a relatively attractive dividend yield even on a normalized basis, and that question mark over of course the optimistic outlook for improved normalized performance versus maintaining its market weight ratio, or rating rather, on UCL with a stable outlook for the time being. But that's it for this week's edition. For more information, you can give us a call at 2BOSS or 226-8773. Email us at info@bossfinancial.com, or visit our website at bossinvestment.com, where all of our research is absolutely free, and you can catch this article in today's business section of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper. And finally, before I leave, I'd just like to let the investing public know and our clients know that we have relocated our Port of Spain offices from Gala Street to our new offices on Cornelio Street on Arbit Avenue. And you can visit us there, check us out, and of course, get some really good investment advice and make more informed investment decisions. So until next time, stay safe, happy investing, and we'll see you again on the Bosch Report.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Catch Sherwin Gardner live in Sold Out on Saturday 6th June at the Magdalena Grand in Tobago and Sunday 7th at Napa Port of Spain. Save $50 on tickets bought by Saturday 30th May. Available in Tobago, Cass Supermarket, Yachts Marketing, Orange Hill, Crosscutters, Scarborough, Caribbean Jewelers, Lowlands Mall, Victory Outreach Church, Scarborough, Dominion Appliances and Gift Shop, Conby, Tobago. In Trinidad, Crosby St. James, All Extra Food Supermarkets, Simon's Music Supplies, Port Street, all Kenny's Sports Stores, Dominican Bookstore, St. Finbar's Compound, Napa Box Office, online at islandetickets.com. For more info, call 358-6397. Sherwin Gardner, Sold Out.
At Modern Caribbean Enterprises Limited, we are making this Father's Day extra special. Enjoy special discounts, free giveaways, plus $100 off detox spa session. Experience our infrared ultrasonic blanket. Turn back the clock with our LED non-surgical facelift that reduces the signs of aging. Not sure what dad will like most? Our gift certificates can help him choose his perfect gift. Visit us today and celebrate the fathers, grandfathers, and father figures who do it all. Call 653-0011.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza in Deva Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Edie Stewart joins me, the president of the Nursing Association. And by all means, there is lots to unpack this morning. As always, Edie, I want to thank you for the time, and I look forward to our interaction as always. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. Pleasant morning to you and your listeners.
President Stewart, let me ask really first, before we get into the concerns with the chickenpox and the tuberculosis, as it pertains to this maxi-taxi strike that's going to take place for the next 3 days. Any concerns from your nurses? Any word as to how the many you represent will be getting to and fro as it pertains to obviously getting to their place of work and home, as it will? What's the latest in that regard?
Well, firstly, we would want to signal our support for the Maxi Taxi Association and the actions that they are undergoing at this time. I would have been speaking with a number of persons within that organization, and the challenges that they are facing is real. It is challenges that they have tried to address with the relevant minister, and I am really hoping that the minister takes the necessary action to alleviate and mitigate the fallout and try to treat with those concerns of our maxi taxi brothers and sisters who ply their trade for the benefit of our nation. Definitely at this time, it would impact on nursing and midwifery personnel, healthcare workers, and a number of citizens throughout Trinidad and Tobago as the longer the strike continues. So we really hope it comes to a reasonable resolution between the parties. And but at this time, definitely it's going to have a significant impact on the healthcare system because, as you would know, the bulk of healthcare workers utilize the maxi taxi service to get to and from work.
Yeah, but you know, but while we're down on transportation, and we'll get to our issue in a few, I just want to find out, is there any deeper conversation happening? Because I remember you on the program would have mentioned that nurses, for example, who work at the Cora facility, very remote facility, obviously the closest main area would be the Eastern Main Road there in El Dorado to get you, whether it to be Arima or elsewhere, and some will have to walk out of that facility late at night. From what you would have explained, is there any deeper conversation as to how we're getting the nursing staff scattered throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad home, especially those who work in remote locations like, as mentioned, Cora?
Yeah. But it's not just Cora, it's throughout Trinidad and Tobago, as you rightfully indicated, from the Carcass, the Cedrus, nursing and midwifery personnel. Once you see a health facility, there's a nurse at that facility. So, and if that nurse doesn't have a vehicle of their own, it can be quite a difficult scenario to reach that facility and get back from that facility. I mean, even Coover multi-training facility, I'm not sure the name now, they change the name so much times. Even that is a task for nursing and midwifery personnel to reach. So it's across. And really and truly, unfortunately, we have requested a meeting with the Honorable Minister of Health, and we have not been provided with same. It appears to be the style of current government who really ignore the concerns of unions who are not directly affiliated with the government, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we will continue to try in the best interests of citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, in the best interests of all healthcare workers, in the best interests of nursing and midwifery personnel, to try to resolve as many issues without the need for engaging in action that can be negative towards our citizens of Trinidad.
Thank you so much, Edie, for that clarity there. Let's move to this major development. Of course, it came to my knowledge via a voice note. I'm sure you would have been privy to that same voice note. And we're hearing of a chickenpox outbreak, TB rumors, and many, I would say, nervous staff members there at the Grandy facility. What can you tell us, Edie? Could you clear the air on what's been just circulating in the public domain? What's the latest?
Well, the association has been able to gather that the only real outbreak that there is the chickenpox. There appears to be a chickenpox outbreak, and this was confirmed by the Ministry of Health in their press release prior to the weekend. We are not aware of any TB outbreak. We are not really aware of any meningitis outbreak, and definitely, if those two were to be true, that would have really spelled a worrying concern within Trinidad and Tobago, because those two are really serious diseases. But chickenpox, really and truly, it's a mild disease. It's a disease that can be easily controlled. The difficulty with chickenpox is the duration between actually being infected and when symptoms appear. So by the time symptoms appear, there's the possibility of that the chickenpox disease being spread to other persons, and that's why it's so easily spread in close, confined quarters, like schools, like hospitals, because a number of persons are very close. And this is one of the reasons why the association makes so much noise, some person would say, when health institutions try to cramming patients onto wards more than the ward can ought to handle, because most units, most cubicles, you're really not supposed to have more than 4 patients within a cubicle. When health administrators try to pushing 4, 5, 6 patients into a 4-bedded area, reducing the space between each bed, it increases the risk for the transfer of the Bacillus bacteria and all other infections, because persons are much more closer, and the risk for one patient to transfer it to another patient, or one nurse to transfer it to another patient, increases the closer patients are. And a number of our older healthcare facilities are really poorly ventilated. And that also increases the risk. So I know the Ministry of Health would have put out a press release in terms of, following the health guidelines, increasing washing of hands. But to our knowledge, other than the chickenpox, there's no real outbreak in terms of the other areas. So I would hope the public is a little rest assured in that aspect.
So nothing to be worried about as it pertains to the TB, but indeed the chickenpox, you can confirm some of the staff there in Grandy would have been impacted. I guess they're on the mend right now, they're home resting?
Yes, well, definitely. Once you would, even though it's a mild virus, you would not want it to be spread. So once someone comes down with chickenpox, you would expect them to remain home for the duration of the virus life, which is generally around 14 days. So we would hope those persons, and we believe they are, the administration at Sandy Grandy facilities and at Eastern Regional Health Authority generally do the proper thing. So we have utmost confidence in the management at that institution to ensure. The challenge with chickenpox, because the duration is about 14 days, you have a scenario where healthcare workers who only have 14 days sick leave can use up their entire sick leave during this period, which they are being mandated to be away from the employer. So that means by the time you come back, you literally have no more sick days if you come down with anything else.
Even if you receive this, even if it's confirmed that you got this particular illness on the job?
Correct. Because what management has always said, we're not sure you got it on the job. So we have had this situation time and time again, particularly in St. Anne's Hospital. This has been a regular occurrence. And each and every time our healthcare workers, particularly nursing midwifery personnel, because we are the ones who are on those poorly ventilated units, you are forced to lose all of your sick leave. So if you had already taken 2-3 days for the year, and you are mandated to stay away for 14 days, you are now going over, and then you will be penalized. This is some of the vagaries that healthcare workers face on a daily basis.
So let me ask, what's been done by your office to overturn this unfortunate circumstance? Because I mean, that sounds very unfair, especially if you received this particular illness, you contracted this on the job, to know you lose all your sick days. Could this be reversed, or what needs to be done for that scenario to be reversed?
Well, negotiations has to be undertook. Unfortunately, again, the current administration is a little adverse to dialogue and speaking and all of these things. It's something that we would have raised on numerous occasions prior, especially during COVID. A number of nursing and midwifery personnel would have come down with COVID themselves and then been severely disadvantaged within the healthcare space. Fortunately, we were able to mitigate some of those instances when we could have directly attributed the acquisition of the disease to the workplace. But again, it has always been a tremendous fight for the union, because again, the employer would always indicate that we can't 100% prove that the individual received the disease within the workplace. So it has been an ongoing running battle trying to lobby for our members.
Let me ask President Stewart, in the case of Grandy, where they are obviously now mandated to stay home, some of the nursing staff there for the 14 days or less, what happens in a scenario where there's already a strain on the human capital? The system cannot accommodate all the patients. The capacity is way more than the staff that's there to treat with it. What happens in a scenario like that where staff now removed and they're home and there's clearly going to be an even bigger shortage, as it will? Is there a major adjustment that has to take place? You're going to take people from other locations? What happens in that scenario?
Well, the good thing with Sandy Grandy Hospital and those facilities within the ERHA, they are a lot better staffed than some of the other institutions within Trinidad and Tobago. So the fallout would not be as great. There would be fallout, but not as great as if it happened in NCRHA or in Southwest or whatever. So that's the starting point. They're starting from a much better position than others. What also would happen is we would expect that management would ensure that, well, they would encourage persons who are currently healthy and not affected to work extra duty, because some of their colleagues will no longer be available as human resource for the institution. So some of the current persons there will now have to work longer hours, placing their bodies at more risk, because chickenpox generally and would affect, while it's a mild disease, there can be significant complications for children or persons who are immunocompromised or persons who are elderly. So those persons are more at risk for developing more complications than the average person who is healthy. And then again, so if you're working longer hours and you are not nourished properly and you have not slept properly, then you are more at risk for becoming infected yourself, and thereby you coming down with the disease. But hopefully by then, the colleagues would return to the workplace. So, as you rightfully indicated, we hope when persons are mandated to go on these 14 days sick leave, that administration is mindful of the negative impact of that and do not take it out of their allotted 14 days sick leave for the year, but rather see it as a workplace illness, a workplace acquired illness, and alleviate the fears of healthcare workers who may come down with this particular illness. Yeah?
Edie, as always, we want to thank you as we look to wrap things up. I'll give you a chance to put in any closing remarks in the seconds that remain. The floor is yours, Edie.
Well, I can't leave without saying to healthcare workers remain on 2013 salaries in 2026. I cannot leave without saying the right to peaceful protest in Trinidad and Tobago is a fundamental constitutional right which all unions should raise their voices and protect for the benefit of citizens. And indeed, the association will continue raising our voices. And I would also say the right to protest in front of Parliament, or the denial, rather, of the right to protest in Parliament, the seat of democracy, removing that democratic principle is indeed a frightening and worrying scenario. And we want the Honorable Prime Minister to understand some and be mindful of some of the statements that she's making, be mindful of some of the categorization she's making, and putting people into categories that they may not belong, and using words that doesn't represent certain individuals. And we want to caution the Prime Minister that, you know, dialogue and empathy and collaboration is maybe a better way to go, as opposed to some of these harsh words that we hear coming from the Honorable Prime, well, reported coming from the Prime Minister. It may not actually come from her, it may be some of her press team or whatnot. So we are very cautious on that, and definitely the association will be making an even more stronger point if we are not allowed to protest in the Ministry of Finance, not allowed to protest at the Diplomatic Center or the Prime Minister's office or the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. There may be places that we may have to go that is not yet bad. Yeah?
Well, Edie, I mean, obviously, with that particular call there, we saw last week where one of the protesters, to a matter of fact, would have been arrested. So, you know, I guess the question is, based on the state of emergency and these new instructions, what will really be, or at least where is going, what space will be a safe space for folks to really lift their voice? So I guess we'll see how things pan out in the days, weeks, and months ahead. Keep us in the loop, Edie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Edie Stewart there. Talking and well, I mean, obviously putting in his particular perspective on what's happening there with the nurses and standing firm on their right to protest. Well, speaking about protest, it starts. It's a 3-day, almost putting down of well, I wouldn't say tools per se, but literally not coming out. We're going to get the latest in terms of that development up next from the president of the Maxi Taxi Association, the Route 3 president, joins me, President Kisundat. See you soon.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, your heart deserves better.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have a bit?
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Love eating spicy food, but soon after, that familiar discomfort begins. Heartburn, acid reflux, and bloating. Introducing Peptica Gel, formulated with aluminum hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, and simethicone to help neutralize excess acid. It's sugar-free with no chalky aftertaste and a pleasant orange flavor. Peptica Gel works fast to relieve heartburn, acid reflux, gas, and bloating, so you can feel comfortable again and get back to enjoying life. Peptica Gel, get the relief you need today. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover. I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I've been in Guardian since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
Because the stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job on this speaking the truth, and you know they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
Oh, The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian. The Guardian is my first choice.
All filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
This season, Ask the Doctor is at a new time. It's your weekly prescription for trusted medical advice. In the Doctor's Capsule, Dr. Tilak Singh breaks down big health topics clearly and simply. Get a dose of smiles in the Kiddies Capsule as our youngest experts share health tips with heart. Explore the science behind the headlines in Medical Minds, featuring real doctors, real insight, and your questions matter. Join the open forum live and get answers straight from the source. Ask the Doctor, every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
This is Mary. Mary has bills to pay and takes a chance parking in front of the building at the no parking sign. Mary returns to her car, and this is what happens. Mary decides to call when she's 5 minutes away to let her daughter know that she is close by. But Mary forgot one thing.
Second ticket for the day. I don't know, nah? I really don't know. Well, I tell you.
After 2 tickets, Mary just isn't paying attention to her speed.
You see a fixed penalty notice, fixing speed like 15 kilometers. You have 30 years to pay, 15 years to contest.
It has short other people. Look at other people passing. All they ain't seen them. All they seen me, right? Eh? All they too wicked.
Don't be like Mary. Obey the laws of the road. A message from the TTPS.
7 minutes moving up to 7 o'clock on this Monday morning. Not any word just yet on the president of the Route 3 Maxi Taxi Association. Apparently, we've been reliably informed that he's on the road, which is quite ironic because that's the last place he's supposed to be. I mean, he said he was driving. I thought he would have been home sipping a tea, having his morning brew, talking to the morning brew. So once we get word as to what's happening in that regard, I will keep in the loop. If there's one thing with me, you know, I'm always transparent. I speak to you from the heart, honest. We don't hold back at all. It's as real as it gets with me and with the morning brew. Trust and believe. So I'll keep you in the loop regarding that development. However, for those who want to come and spend some of the morning with me on the couch, or you could join us on the Zoom line, just send a nice email, short, concise, to tmb@cnc3.co.tt. That's our email address, the only one we use. We respond, and I would say, hopefully see you soon. That's right. Let's head now to the social media handles. Instagram, Facebook, and X, very active in the space, so stay on top of all developments. We move now to the CNC3 mobile app. It's a must-have, your number one source for verified breaking news. Get it today on your smartphone. And the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, it's a very important space and a place, our foundation product. That's where I get lots of my news every single day. So good morning to the Guardian team, and you can visit guardian.co.tt for more and to get your subscription. Get it today. Look at right there. Let's move to our food for thought. You just can't beat the person who never gives up. You hear that? You can't beat the person who never gives up. They're not throwing any towel. They're still there in the fight. Beautiful words, fighting words on this Monday morning. I've been reliably informed that my producer, Nikisha, is on location at City Gate. So I want to check in with Nikisha to get the latest in real time as to this protest, this 3-day strike, and how the first day is going, and if she's seeing in real time the impact of this said strike. Nikisha, good morning.
Now we people will be forced to first the shot, the after passing. Right.
Good morning, Jason, and good morning to our viewers here on CNC3. We are here at the Citygate Maxi Hub in Port of Spain, where usually at this point in time, there is a consistent flow of traffic with pedestrians, as well as there's usually hundreds of maxis at this spot in the morning, the rush hour, where we have people going to work, we have students going to school, and there are concerns this morning as there is a 3-day strike of maxi taxis. So the usual flow of traffic is not happening here this morning. The usual flow of pedestrians is not happening, but we are seeing a few pedestrians trickling. There are a few maxis trickling in this morning, so some maxis are working this morning. The concerns of citizens this morning are the issues to come to work. They are thinking that maxis, we have already seen, some of my colleagues have sent videos, they are limited maxis, so there are people on the roadway waiting to get transportation to come to work. We have the students this morning who are right in CSEC. We have the students who are right in Cape. We are also seeing concerns from that sector. We had some information from Tutor yesterday saying they are concerned while they recognize that the Maxi Association needs to highlight their plight. There are some concerns for the students this morning. The Blind Welfare Association also raised some issues. They are saying when things like this happen, the vulnerable, they are neglected. The Blind Welfare is saying that there is usually no stipulation put in place for people who are vulnerable, and they are asking that something also be put in place for their members. I spoke to PTSC yesterday. They said no additional resources will be sent out. Everything will be functioning as normal. However, for the while that I have been here, I have seen several buses pass. So the buses are moving, the buses are functioning, the buses are trying to take up the slack. On entry here this morning, we would have seen lines awaiting, lines of passengers awaiting buses to take them to their destination. So we are seeing that the impact of the lack of maxis, they are now trying to get their transportation through the buses. But what is the issues here? The Association of Maxi Taxis are saying they are highlighting concerns basically here at the hub. They are asking for better conditions. This is the place where the maxis come. This is the place where they pick up their passengers. They are asking for better resources here. They are asking for better facilities. They are asking for more security. That has been a concern highlighted in recent weeks on the Morning Brew. They are asking for more security on the roadways as they make their journey to and fro. They are asking for more security. They are asking for an adjustment to the speed limits. They are saying they would like it to be moved from 65 to 80 kilometers on the highway. They are asking for adjustment for that. They are saying that they have had conversations with the Ministry of Works previously. They are asking for some of their concerns that their rates previously to be addressed. They are also asking for accommodations with NIS. They would like to have a situation where they could go pay their NIS and be able to collect pension and others. So they have a number of things they are addressing. However, they have decided to use 3 days within this week. Thursday is a holiday. They have decided to use 3 days to voice their concerns, and as much as it is impacting the citizens, they are hoping that their cries and their pleas could be heard. So we are here this morning observing the scenes, observing the maxis that are trickling, the few pedestrians, as you might see one passing by me, the few pedestrians that are trickling in. We understand that there's also heavy police support at the entrance of the hub, so we will stand by today. Our reporters are on the field, our cameramen are on the field. We will look for information coming in from them throughout the day and give you all an update as to what is taking place and whether or not this strike will continue for the 3 days or whether there will be some resolution for the maxi taxi drivers and the public. Back to you, Jason.
Thank you so much, Nakisha. Nakisha there at Citygate, giving us the latest in real time. We take the 7 a.m. news and we bring that now to the forefront. And after the 7 a.m. news update, your calls live.
Time Check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
Good morning. I'm Angelo Chetadaya with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Thousands of commuters could be left stranded from today as more than 5,000 maxi-taxi operators prepare to begin a 3-day shutdown. The action is expected to disrupt schools, businesses and workplaces across the country, with many passengers expressing concern over the impact. Meanwhile, business leaders are warning of significant economic fallout, with thousands of commuters expected to be affected, as well as major commercial hubs. President of the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce, Kiran Singh, warns that while operators may have legitimate grievances, the shutdown itself risks deepening economic strain at a time when businesses are already experiencing weaker trading conditions.
If it goes ahead as planned, businesses may see some challenge to remain open if workers are challenged in terms of getting transport to get to work. The maxi taxis, as we know, they are vital cog in the wheel of transport nationwide. The PTSC is not adequate to take the capacity of passengers on a daily basis to their destinations. And the maxi taxis therefore play such a vital role.
Meanwhile, Downtown Owners and Merchants Association President Gregory Aboud is warning maxi-taxi operators to be careful with the scale and impact of their planned 3-day shutdown, saying such actions could backfire if commuters are forced to find alternative ways to travel. Aboud says the strike comes at a time when the transport system is already under pressure and urges all sides to engage in urgent dialogue to avoid further disruption. An 80-year-old woman is today pleading for help in finding her son, Umadat Ramcharan, who has been missing for 3 months. The mother of 10 says Ramcharan had received death threats before he disappeared and had told her he feared for his life. He lives in Friendship Village, St. Madeleine, and was last seen in February. His mother says they know who made the threats to her son, and a report was made to the St. Madeleine police station. However, the lack of feedback from police has led her to believe they are not treating the disappearance of the 53-year-old father of 4 seriously. She is now turning to the public for help.
I telling you myself, I don't know. One meeting others say he's alive, one meeting others say maybe they kill him and throw him, I don't know. Every day I get up and others watch for him to see if he come, or if I hear he calling, or if I hear he whistling. I don't hear nothing. Nothing I don't hear.
Anyone with information is asked to contact the St. Madeleine Police Station or 800-TIPS. Well, this has been your 7 a.m. news headlines. Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour.
Every day at the castle, long before we open our doors, our work begins. Our famous seasonings are mixed in advance. We select our fresh chicken parts and prep our delicious sides. Then we fire up the fryers and rotisserie oven. Everything is made with tasty local herbs, spices, and the same long-loved recipe since 1968. So, when you come in, remember that we uphold our culture and our taste. Just for you. We are your Royal Castle.
Legends need to be celebrated while they can still hear the applause. Trinidad and Tobago, let's show our appreciation for this Calypso giant in Thank You, David.
Calypso. Saturday, June 6th at Napa, Port of Spain. Sunday, June 7th at Sapa, San Fernando.
2 nights, one legend, countless unforgettable songs.
Celebrating King David in his presence and performing some of his many hits include Roger George, KV Charles, Christon Joseph, Terry Lyons, Adrian Filbert, Irvin Alves, Chuck Gordon.
Special guests for Napa is Super Bandman, Dane Gulston, and the Lydian Singers.
Special guest for Sapa is world record holder Joshua Regrello and the Southern Air Choir. MC Sonny Blinn.
Tickets bought by this Saturday, 30th May. Cost $25 less. If stocks last. For more info, call 491-1802.
Thank you, David.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chabonas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Welcome back. It's the second hour. Today, Monday, the 1st of June, 2026. Let's see who's on the line. Open forum time. Lots to unpack, lots to talk about. It's an action-packed second hour, so I'll give some details as to who's coming up very soon. But let's hear from you first. Good morning on this June 1st. Welcome.
A pleasant good morning, Jason.
Morning, Shogunas. Welcome.
Well, good morning. Jason, you were up on it. That was a hard fight on Saturday, boy. But you were up. I was really back in Arsenal as the underdog, but things didn't work out for them. It was a good start there, and let me tell you something. A lot of people would have thought that that would have been a 4-0 or 5-0, you know, a complete demolition. But really and truly, Arsenal show backbone. They show spine and they show fight. I will really give that game some flavor. Is an early goal. Because I tell you something, if PSG just score early, I feel the floodgates would have opened, honestly speaking. But because Arsenal score first, I feel they had something to fight for. You understand what I'm saying? But 1 out of 2 embark, Jason.
Yeah, thanks, right? Man. I appreciate it.
Jason, you're welcome. I want to touch on the topic this morning, right, in connection with the maxi taxi drivers. I think there are some valid points, right? They're really looking towards something better. Yeah, I mean, it's a new government, and they're looking towards something better from the new government itself, right? Relevant to the future for themselves, right? But I think that they're going about it in a wrong way because what I think is that the president should try and seek a meeting with the Minister of Labour, right? Try and seek a meeting and all those relevant in authority and sit down with them, right, and say, well, listen, if it is that X amount of monies could be paid, right, from all the drivers, so we would know as exactly who is to collect the NIS, who are making the payments and wherever the case is. I mean, sometimes we think that coming out and making this broad action about taking a strike and downing tools and all kind of things, and that is the answer. But that is not the answer because, just let me tell you something, nobody wins this morning, you know. Everybody on the backbone this morning, nobody wins, you know, because they...
Hello? What's going on there?
Or whatever the case is. You know, I mean, we have to look at all these things, right? But other than that, my brother Scope, Trinidad, this is Monday the 1st of June. Well, you get up, right? Do all you have to do, right? The present position is not the permanent position. Get up, things will work out. God will work things out for you. Take care, Jason.
You're all the best, man. Thanks a lot for touching base. Shogunas there, giving us the encouragement to get up and get it going on this June 1st. really was looking forward to talk to the president, of the Route 3 Maxi Taxi Association, but we'll still try, but if not today, tomorrow for sure. Sawa, good morning. Good morning, Sawa.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. I'm listening. Go ahead.
I'm calling about a hole. The road broke on Priska Road in Sawa between the 7 Days Church and Wassa. And it's getting worse now. I am 83 years old. I have put a pole in it and a tire for people to see, because a lot of people, about, I would say 15 cars have gone down and they had to drag them out. Somebody's going to break the neck there. It's between the 7 Days Church and Wassa.
Yeah,
it's on the left if you're coming from Wassa.
Well, I right in front of you, No, actually behind you. I'm on the mission, so I'm gonna pass.
That hole is dangerous. The pitch of itself broke the road.
And
They was telling me why you don't fix it because your house. And I say I'm not the government. Why I should fix it? So please see if you can help us. I have put a tire there and a piece of iron pole. I painted it in white. I am 83. That is too much for me to do. Okay?
Yeah. All right.
Please, cars are diving in. There's somebody, a lady came out recently. We got her out because her car dived in, and when she went to the back seat, she pulled out a baby. We were in shock. We didn't realize she had a baby sitting in the back. And then we heard she had just gotten her license too. I say, Lord have mercy. So please, Jason, we love you and stay sweet. Okay, bye.
All right, Mom. Definitely. I would check on that literally today, because that is stones through from me. I'd really pass on Prisca, to be quite honest. I just go on my street, go down to the 3rd Avenue, but I'll have to go see that, because I know exactly what she's talking about. That is unacceptable. Really unfortunate. Even Mission Road too, where I reside, it's becoming a real task. There's a particular trench in the road before you go to Nualaville there. Not nice. So I'll treat with it immediately. Thank you so much for the heads up. I believe Richard told me Tuna Puna is on the line. Puna, good morning.
Hello.
Welcome to Puna.
Hello, morning.
Morning. I'm listening. Go ahead. Yeah, Puna.
Hello.
Yeah, Puna. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Since 4:30, waiting for transport on the bus route. No maxi taxis, man. And what we're saying is that morning. Morning, Jason.
Yeah, good morning.
What I'm saying is that since 4:30, waiting for transport on the bus route. No maxis. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear. So it's...
And what we are saying is that if it is the government is aware that the maxis and them going to strike, why they don't put things in place with the PTSC buses?
Well, the thing is, Nakisha would have mentioned that just now in her report. What she's saying is that even if, they're very aware the strike is happening, but there's nothing really that they can do. The buses already allocated, already out, and there's only so much these buses could take. It can't go beyond the capacity. They can't just bring bus out of the tin air to take up the slack. So I guess that's why the maxi taxi men taking the strike, doing this to, I guess, send a serious message and to kind of cripple that traveling, put a real dent in the traveling public's wheel, as it were. So that's what's going on. That's what a strike's supposed to do. I remember a strike is supposed to be a disruptor. It's supposed to cause disruption. It's supposed to cause this kind of turmoil and stress and inconvenience. So that's why I guess they're going about it. How they're going about it is just, I don't know if they could sustain it for 3 days. That's what I'm waiting to see, if this could really last for 3 days from now till Wednesday. Let's go to Rio Claro. Good morning, Rio.
Hey, morning, JW. Barely hearing you on the phone anyway.
No, but hearing you loud and clear though. So you go ahead, Rio Claro. Go ahead.
All right, cool, man. Well, you're showing me going over the with the city gate, right? But you have to show me going over the taxi stands and them, man. We'll take out the rock from the city and see how people seeking the alternative routes and them. So if it's coming up and thing there, right? I see some police put out a video with some bullets and some envelope and all that thing.
Yeah.
Is that the proper way to handle evidence, right? And why does he put out a social media video and not rely on the TTPS to handle it internally? And then we get a report later on, about 5 weeks later, that they find some bullets and thing. I see some Chief Justice say that it's like they're going to verify, strengthen the independence of the judiciary. It's like, how was it week before? And what measures he coming up with to say, well, hey, the independence is strengthened? How is that going to be measured? And have a surefire way to improve the performance of the DTPS. If we move the intake from 5 CXCs to a degree, I'm sure in about 10 years' time, we should see a vast improvement as to what's going on here. Thanks.
Take it easy. I know that's how it is in other jurisdictions like Canada and the UK. The TTPS officer, well, not TTPS, the police there, highly qualified, but then there is a particular remuneration. There's a pay package that is able to also facilitate that higher learning and that said degree. So, Rio, I mean, great recommendation, but that would also have to be a consideration if we're asking for more academic in terms of your prowess. There must be a salary to match such. So that's a whole different conversation. But I understand where you're going with it, Rio. I understand where you're going. Final call. Good morning. Maloney, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, Maloney. I'm listening. Yeah.
I said before, the people are right to go on strike. They want better conditions and the government not listening. Government needs to resign. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Maloney. So that's it there for the open forum for today. Again, the strike from what we're hearing via Nikisha, what we're hearing via the caller from Tunapuna. It's clearly in full swing, at least on the eastern, well, the bus route. And that's what a strike does. It causes that kind of disruption, the inconvenience, the headache, people having to make alternative plans. And that's why I guess they would have decided. And for it to work, all hands need to be on deck. So we will find out during the course of the day if that is the reality, if some maxi drivers are going out, if the taxis and the PH men picking up the slack, or what's the situation with the bus. We will get details, and as we get them, we will bring it to you during the course of the day. Let's take the pause. We come back. As mentioned, action-packed program inside the second hour. We get some details from the president of MPAT. They're coming in. Also, I'm seeing president of, well, I'm seeing a national nutrition campaign here. We're going to treat with that later on, and some details on Corpus Christi in terms of Corpus Christi and its relationship with planting. Action-packed second hour ahead. See you soon.
Living with diabetic neuropathy is exhausting. The burning pain and tingling that won't go away? Introducing Myolaxin D Gel, made for pain relief. Fast absorbing, non-greasy, and easy to apply. Its Carbomer gel formula delivers relief deep at the nerve level. Oleoresin capsicum helps reduce pain signals, while diclofenac eases inflammation. Menthol and camphor provide fast, soothing comfort, so the pain eases and comfort returns. Size doesn't matter. This 15-gram tube gives you maximum relief. Myolaxin D Gel, available at pharmacies nationwide.
Legends need to be celebrated while they can still hear the applause. Trinidad and Tobago, let's show our appreciation for this Calypso giant in Thank You, David.
Saturday, June 6th at Napa, Port of Spain. Sunday, June 7th at Sapa, San Fernando.
2 nights, 1 legend, countless unforgettable songs.
Celebrating King David in his presence and performing some of his many hits include Roger George, KV Charles, Christon Joseph, Terry Lyons, Adrian Filbert, Irvin Alves, Chuck Gordon.
Special guests for Napa is Super Bandman, Dane Gulston, and the Lydian Singers.
Special guest for Sapa is world record holder Joshua Regrillo and the Southern Air Choir. MC Sonny Bling.
Tickets bought by this Saturday, 30th May, cost $25 less. If stocks last. For more info, call 491-1802.
Thank you, David.
Move from CXC to your business management degree in just over 2 years with the globally and ACTT recognized ABE qualification at CTS College. Students with limited CSEC passes or mature candidates with work experience can enroll. Each level can be completed in under 6 months, with a diploma awarded upon completion of each level and a bachelor's degree awarded at the end of the entire program. contact CTS College today and ask about our flexible payment terms.
In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail,
rigorous verification of facts,
use of credible sources, and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Very important conversation ahead when it comes to construction and any major moving and building. We must get into detailed discussion with the Miners and Processing Association. And the president is here with me, Danny Prasad, and of course he represents MPAT. And the MPAT attorney is also here with us, legal advisor Vanna Janki Prasad, yes?
Janki Prasad.
That's right. So to you, Vanna, to you, Danny, I want to thank you all for the time and also for actually being here in person to really share with myself and the audience some of the concerns in the industry. I know recently lots would have been circulating in the news cycle via the, I guess lots of discussions, so public contemplation would have been up. I want to know what's the biggest concern at this point in time and what's being done as it pertains to the holdover letters. So I'll start with you, President.
Good morning, and thanks for having us here this morning. I really wish to say that for over the last couple of years and the year, in fact, that the government is in power, and we look at the efficiency of the quarry operators, and this handover letters is something that they bring about where license would have expired, and they bring this about to carry on further down the road. What I am saying also is that we call on the Honorable Minister to really deal with these issues, because the handover letters really, quarry operators, it was had expired for so many years, and all it needed was renew what they had before. So seeing that the handover letters there is really don't really make any sense at all.
For those who don't know, President, who's the line minister that treats directly with your sector?
Dr. Munilal.
Any discussions, any kind of audience with the minister thus far?
Well, we seek audience with him a couple of times, but they have not responded to us, so we could have dialogue with them.
And let me bring Vanna in from a legal standpoint. What's been done via your chair to advance the conversation to really light a fire, as it were, on the powers that be to ensure there is due process and a regular, I would say, operating framework for those in the sector?
So the overarching issue in this entire scenario would be the legality of the Minister of Energy to even issue a holdover letter to a few select quarry operators. And there's some misconception in the public domain between a holdover letter and a license.
What's the difference?
So a license is granted by the minister by virtue of his statutory power in the Minerals Act, Chapter 6103. And the license is a legally enforceable instrument, whereas the holdover letter is a mere administrative correspondence, which says that you can operate notwithstanding the fact that your license has expired. But there's no statutory basis in legislation that even grants the minister the power to do such. And it is our argument that the entire action is ultra-virus and it is illegal. What is being done on our end? We have written several letters to the minister, even prior to the act of the issuance of the holdover letters. And our main grievance on behalf of the quarry operators were that so many operators who have applied for a mining license and a processing license there has not been a determination by the minister in the granting of their license to date.
Thanks for that clarity, and we could elaborate some more. But I want to bring up, and probably, Vanna, you could also weigh in, but I want to ask President Prasad first as it pertains to the bad actors. I know obviously we're dealing here with those who are above board, but for the many who over the years would have just gone into the particular business, especially quarrying, without license, without full disclosure, there is this perception that it's a kind of business that some basically avoid the rules and the regulations. What's the latest as it pertains to those actors within the space?
Well, those operators, there's application inside that are waiting for license to be processed, right? And we have seen there's a lot of delays in attending to these matters. There are at least about, vividly I checked it, about 35 applicants who are inside right now waiting for mining and processing license. And to this date, none have been processed thus far.
And Vanna, in that regard, people will still, even though they're waiting, they will take a chance and operate. I mean, that's a big risk. Because I remember last year there would have been a big raid on a particular quarry, and it was all in the news. We won't go into the details, but I recall that development. Police, the commissioner was there, big press conference. I said, what is all this? This is at a theater. What happens in that scenario? Somebody takes a chance. You're going to be in some serious problems legally?
So to answer the first part of your question, this is an issue that has been ignored by successive governments. This is not an issue that just arose within the space of a matter of a couple months since this new administration came into being. And in that regard, where you have operators, well, we can't speak for operators who don't have their paperwork, because we represent a body of those operators who have submitted all their applications but have not been there. A determination has not been made in the granting of their license. But what I can say for those operators who do not have their paperwork, why it's even greater is that we are in a state of emergency and police are granted greater and wider powers. So it is a risk.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to take that kind of chance. President Prasad, as you do your media blitz, you get the information out. You anticipate there might be any kind of resolution, there should be any moving, as it were, the needle in the right direction? You have a time frame on when you believe we can get some kind of resolution? Could come to some place of normalcy before the end of 2026?
Well, we are hoping so. This is why we have sent letters to the ministry, to the minister and the permanent sec, seeking an audience with them. And we are waiting. As soon as they engage us in that conversation, we will be ready to sort out the issues. And we have some policies and things what Vanna here have been doing extensive researches and work, right? So we can make our presentation and show that how we can be efficient, just like in the Commonwealth. And obviously with the kind of investment, with the kind of equipment that will be used in your particular sector, if you're not operating, how massive is the loss if you're not able to generate and bring in that particular income? The losses is extensive, you know. I would imagine so, because your equipment is high-end, very expensive equipment. Yeah. We're talking here on the hundreds of thousands, millions? Yeah. And then when these equipment sit idle, when you're ready to operate them, it begins, you know, a lot of things happen, so you have to spend a lot of money to revitalize it again. What we also see happening is that because operators have not been granted their license, there is a negative consequential effect in terms of operators not being given a fair chance and a fair opportunity as it pertains to engaging in procurement. So they have not been given the fair chance to engage in state contracts and so forth. And that is why it is our argument that they have been treated unequally. Mm-hmm. So you would have obviously put in your legal argument on behalf of MPAT. Was there any legal response? Was there any, where are we as it pertains to that petition? Well, we would have written to the minister in early February. We would have indicated that we would like to engage in discussions with him and his team because we have major policy and legislative recommendations as it pertains to the entire mining framework, and to date we have not gotten a definite response as to when that meeting would be. What can you do to escalate, to really, you know, to send a message that this is an urgent scenario that needs to be addressed? What can be done from a legal standpoint to escalate this? From a legal standpoint, the only thing that we could resort to now is legal action, because we have tried to resolve the issue in a very non-contentious manner. Yeah, you want dialogue. President Prasad, I'll let you have the final say. What message you want to say directly to your association, to those within the sector, as you all wait with bated breath for a response? Well, I urge all operators to put whatever indifferences they have, come forward and let us take this fight to ensure that everybody, you know, be successful in all the requirements. And I will also ask the Director of Minerals to produce a list of all the quarry operators, bona fide quarry operators, and who are still sitting on the sideline waiting for their license. Because for this bona fide members that we have and operators who are there right now, remember their license has expired. That's why they have this handover. So I am saying to the minister that we seek the audience with them so we could rectify these anomalies. Yeah. President, I want to thank you. Of course, Vanna, you know, sincere thanks also. Keep us posted. Let's not just have this as a one-off conversation. If there's any development, any news coming to the fore, please let us know, and let's keep advancing this very important conversation. President and Vanna, all the best. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's right. We take a pause and we come back. Definitely we get into that discussion concerning nutrition, health, wellness inside the Nutrition Awareness Month. Full details ahead.
Catch Sherwin Gardner live in Sold Out on Saturday 6th June at the Magdalena Grand in Tobago and Sunday 7th at Napa Port of Spain. Save $50 on tickets bought by Saturday 30th May. Available in Tobago, Cass Supermarket, Yachts Marketing, Orange Hill, Crosscutters, Scarborough, Caribbean Jewelers, Lowlands Mall, Victory Outreach Church, Scarborough, Dominion Appliances and Gift Shop, Conby, Tobago. In Trinidad, Crosby St. James, All Extra Food Supermarkets, Simon's Music Supplies, Port Street, all Kenny's Sports Stores, Dominican Bookstore, St. Finbar's Compound, Napa Box Office, online at islandetickets.com. For more info, call 358-6397. Sherwin Gardner, Sold Out.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on CNC3 and start your wellness journey today.
I ask myself, how can our country be better than it was yesterday? We all hope for a better society, but not many understand the power of their influence to change the world around them. A small act of kindness holds as much power as a camera, a mic, or even a seat in the parliament when it comes to achieving societal development. I understand that my purpose extends beyond being a mere observer. I am an active participant in shaping the world around me. From the stories I write to the newscast I produce, it is my hope that everyone is heard and understood. We are where you are.
The Health and Nutrition Association president joins me. Always great to have Nandani Samuel with us. And when you see Nandani on a regular basis, feel good because it's always a uplifting, informative, impactful conversation on nutrition. Now it's Nutrition Week. Yes, it starts today, but Nandani says they're going for the entire month in terms of discussions and just keeping, I would imagine, what should be at the top of the mind right there, to the top of the mind. Because we can't have these issues as a back burner issue. Nutrition, there's a direct correlation with how we treat ourselves, what we eat, what we put into our body, and what we see sometimes with the health system and the overload based on NCDs and what people are going through. So great to have you, Nandani.
Thanks for having me, Jason. Good morning, everyone.
You know, nutrition, from the time we open our eyes, from the first thing we put in our system, breakfast, into lunch, into probably our afternoon or evening snack, how important is prep?
Prep is very important. The thing about it is that you always hear the saying, you are what you eat, but yet persons don't understand how to make proper nutritional choices, and there's where nutrition label reading comes in. Yeah. So
you're saying reading labels, but see, you can read a label, but if you don't know what's on the label, if you don't know what you're reading, I mean, you kind of have to know. How does one get that deeper knowledge and understanding as to what's on a label?
So that is basically what we are focusing on this month at the Health and Nutrition Association. We are launching our nutrition campaign. It's called Flip the Pack, Know Your Facts. So basically, persons don't really look, they look at calories, they focus on calories only. But there's so much more to that. There's the serving sizes, the added sugar, fat, salt, cholesterol, all of that. You want to look at that. So a lot of persons, in my opinion, tend to miss the serving sizes. So let's just look at a pack of cookies. The serving size may be 1, but the servings per container is 4. If you eat the entire 4 cookies, you are going to have to multiply every single thing there by for now, and that is what people miss. You also look at the percentage daily value. So 5% or less is low, 20% or more is high. So when it comes to things like sugar, salt, and fat, you don't want that to be more than 20%, Jason. And also the ingredients list is a very important factor, because ingredients list is in a descending order. So what is first off in the product is what is most of in the product. So let's just say you buy a package of juice and you see water, sugar, citric acid as in the first three. You know, sugar is very high in that product, and that is something that a lot of persons miss.
So you see, look at that. You see, when we consider prep, you know, yes, prep is putting the meal together so that you could have an easy, you know, process in the morning or when you decide to cook. But you said something important. The prep starts with literally reading the label, understanding what's inside there. Walk me through with that said label, because a lot of people also look at the expiry date. Is that a marketing ploy, or will a product literally really spoil on the shelf if it goes beyond the expiry date?
So there's the expiry date, and yes, it could expire within that particular date, but then there's the best before date or the sell-by date. So which means that the product, you could still consume it after the best before date. So there's a difference between the expiry dates and the best before dates.
Oh yes, yes, it's true. It's really best. So it's really best before, because they always say use by
or sell by or whatever the case is. So there's a difference there.
So you could go beyond it then?
You could go beyond it with the sell by or the best before dates.
But not obviously a whole year, 2 years after?
No, like 3 to 4 days sometimes in most cases you could go beyond.
Yeah, because my son is the one who does lots of checks and balances with that. Sometimes things, you have it there, you're buying, especially people who might buy in bulk.
Yeah.
You might not use something and it could really, you know, end up there on your hands.
Yeah.
So what's the campaign for this week? How you'll, other than the media blitz, how can folks get information to have that deeper knowledge? What's the plan to get that info out there?
So basically, we have access to the Health and Nutrition TT on Instagram, Facebook, our website, hnatt.org. Basically, what we are doing this entire month. So yes, it's Nutrition Awareness Week. Today is actually Caribbean Nutrition Day. But the entire month, we are rolling out the campaign where we will be at grocery stores. You are going to see us on the digital billboards. We will be a very heavy presence on social media, explaining how persons can now make healthier choices. Basically, we are trying to empower persons to read the labels. Let's just start there so that they are now be able to make informed decisions and compare products, know what they are putting into their bodies exactly.
What about the products that claim to have, or at least the perception is that they are, you know, certain, like, I don't call it no brand per se, but there are products where I was telling you there's a product that said, hey, it has potato in it, and when they do check it, it's not potato. Nothing that they claim to be that. I mean, how is that allowed? I mean, I know it's a bigger conversation, and I know they have massive conglomerates and massive global brands who run that food chain. So it's a deeper kind of, there's a lot of layers to unpack, but there should be some kind of, there should be, when it comes to marketing, I find there should be a level of truth.
Yeah, and there's where I mean the bodies, the important organizations would come in terms of FDA and whatever the case is. But when it comes to nutrition label, again, sometimes the claims on the products may be, okay, it's low in fat, low in sugar, and as you rightfully said in terms of the potato chips or whatever the case is. But what I've seen is that a lot of persons tend to jump on the bandwagon and say, okay, because this product is low in sugar or it has healthy fats, it does not mean that it's not also higher in carbs or higher in something else. Right, so that is where nutrition label reading would come in. It's important to know everything in that particular product, not just the claims, look at the claims. So that's something a lot of persons misunderstand as well, besides the serving size, as I mentioned before.
What about drinks? Because obviously, flipping the back, you'll have labels on the food, but also drinks.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, as you said, look for the calories, look for the sugar content.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, even when they say there's no sugar, there's sometimes still sugar there. Is that the case?
So from a nutritional standpoint, what I will say is that when you look at a nutrition label, you're going to see grams, you're not going to see teaspoons. So people often misunderstand that, okay, women and children should not have more than 6 teaspoons for the day, men 9 teaspoons according to the American Heart Association, right? So a lot of times what I've seen is that certain juice drinks on the market, Jason, actually has higher sugar than a Coke because or like a soft drink. So you really want to look at the nutritional value. You want to divide by 4, especially to get the amount of teaspoons, because let's just say a product has 64 grams of sugar in it, and you divide that by 4, that's 16 teaspoons of sugar. You now put it into your body.
Yeah.
You understand? And some persons may say, okay, I'm not eating sugar today, but they are drinking it.
Where can folks find the association online to just get more information?
Okay, it's healthandnutritiontt.org. That's our website. And then Health and Nutrition TT on Instagram and Facebook. They can find us to get more information on this campaign.
Now, Danny, thanks for sharing with us. As mentioned, flip the back, understand your labels. That's where the prep starts. Knowing what you're buying and knowing what you're going to serve, not only to yourself, but to your family and friends. Happy Nutrition Awareness Week.
Thank you.
All the best.
Same to you.
Well, around this time, when Corpus Christi comes around and the holiday is on Thursday, lots of folks take the moment to plant. And let's get some details as to the correlation between Corpus Christi and planting and what's a good option and how you could find yourself getting closer to that green thumb, because there's some people, they have it, some don't, but with the right advice and the right timing, you can make it happen. So agriculture and Corpus Christi, that conversation next with Riyadh Mohammed.
At Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center, we're all about time. In fact, once you check in, there's no time to lose. Reconnect with a little family time. Make a splash with some pool time. Spend some treasured quality time. Or just immerse yourself in some quiet time. Indulge your senses at dinner time. We even have the perfect venue when it's your celebration time. So it's high time you visit Cruise Inn. Choose our day pass or call 607-4000 to make your dinner or hotel reservations or to find out more about our event spaces. Take a time out at Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
So CTA say that they're doing the ABC of parenting, so I say I have to get in that. You know, anything with the ABCs, I like to get in that. I started with A for accountability. So you just mash up things from a side when you get vexed, and then you surprised when you get called into the school for your child doing the same thing. Recognize that as a parent, you are one of the biggest influencers on your child's life. You have to acknowledge that your actions and choices can impact your child's development and growth. Take time to account for any consequences your actions may have on your child and always acknowledge that responsibility before saying or doing anything. Your actions speak louder than your words, but at the end of the day, do your best. Share if you found this useful and like and follow CTA's profile for more parenting tips as we go through the ABCs of parenting.
With me, Riyadh Mohammed. Around Corpus Christi, we are guaranteed to get into that conversation with Riyadh. He is from the Tropical Agriculture Consultancy Services, their lead agriculture consultant. Riyadh, great to see you. Great to see the coconut tree always blowing in the breeze every time we touch base. Welcome, my friend.
Man. Morning, how you doing?
All is well, man. Obviously, Corpus Christi around the corner, and many take this opportunity to plant. Is it, I would imagine, directly linked to the fact that we kind of getting back into that wet part of the year? Well, I mean, officially hurricane season starts today, but the place would have been brown, very dry in the last couple of weeks, last couple of months. So I guess once there is that rain. And moisture, I think obviously people, is that also part of it too? Why people use this opportunity?
It is definitely, very closely related. So you know that Corpus Christi is really the Roman Catholic feast celebrating the Holy Eucharist, right? And it's really observed nationally as a public holiday. You know, everybody look forward to that time. But that link between Corpus Christi and agriculture, it really falls at usually the start of the rainy season. And the day really becomes associated with planting crops, right? And really seeking God's blessings for a good harvest. I think that is where most farmers or most planters focus their efforts there.
That's right. So obviously, what's one of the signature crops to plant around Corpus Christi?
Okay, so you have most people who have that type of home garden setting, they will focus on things like planting the short crops, the tomatoes, the hot pepper, the lettuce. But most farmers, even if it's subsistence farmers, they would focus on things like corn, pigeon peas, and sorrel. And you would always ask yourself why you're planting sorrel this time of the year, and it's always popping up around December, right? Sorrel is one of those crops that need shorter day lengths. So this is the ideal time to plant at the beginning of the rainy season because it lasts a couple months, you know, in terms of growing.
You know, there are some who, they got that green thumb. Whatever they touch, it's going to grow, and then some others, not so lucky. Let's help that person who's getting problems when they plant for some reason, it's just not working out for them. What they're doing wrong, Riyadh?
Jay, it can be a million things because agriculture is so intricate. So, for example, let's just say they buy some seeds. The seeds can have a poor germination rate, so it might even be their fault in the first place. That is one. And then we assume the seeds were good. Maybe they just watered it too much. They didn't plant it deep enough in the soil mix. You know, they overwater it, too much moisture, less oxygen. So they kill the germination phase even before the seedling come on top. And even if they do get it germinated, sometimes it's post-management care. They don't know what to fertilize or how to mold or when to spray, if to even spray, or what type of care that the plant needs. You know, so it's a lot of factors you have to take into consideration to support good life, to get food. And that is why we always must respect our farmers. I mean, these events are cultural and traditional, and I respect them totally, but year-round, Jay, farmers do this for a livelihood, and it's very difficult, especially when they're switching between seasons. You have new varieties coming up, the agricultural input supply is always going up, you have so much uncertainty with supply chain. I mean, it's a million things could go wrong in the agri sector, as you would well know.
Yeah, that's right. We are blessed in Trinidad and Tobago, I would imagine. I can't say I would imagine. I know this as a fact, the soil, the richness. But are there certain areas that there's a particular prowess compared to others? Because I'm saying this based on certain paramin. I know Arangwes back in the day, still for many, consider Couva, Grand Couva. You understand?
Yeah, exactly.
Look at Princess Brown. Look at the man. You saw the pumpkin last week, the 600-pound or 800-pound pumpkin.
Yeah, but that farmers don't have some of the best varieties and the biggest varieties. Not only in pumpkin, of watermelon, of tomatoes, and a couple other crops. So he and he's a hobbyist, right? So actually he specializes in getting those high quality seeds and taking care of that crop. And that's a very hard job to do. But coming back to the soil, Jay, with my limited knowledge on soil and soil science, most of the soils in Trinidad are acidic, right? And I could also tell you that not all of them are nutrient deficient, you know, but in some way, when we use and abuse our soils a bit too much without putting back the proper elements like compost, manure, different types of good biostimulants that we extract from all the other seeds, we didn't take care of our soils properly. And that's why we have so much issues with the soil itself. And then you need to understand that you must match the different type of crop that you have with a particular soil type. Either you're targeting sandy loam or sandy or clay, right? So it must match back to the soil type and the requirements of the crop itself. You know, so like when I mentioned before, agriculture is so diverse. There are so many things to consider. And Jay, I will tell you, I'm finishing now my 5th degree in agriculture. And I will tell you, Jay, after 20 years of tertiary education, and I'm still going to continue, and there's so much more to learn because I have not stopped learning. Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I recall even on my personal journey in school, I went to El Dorado for just a year, and we had agricultural science as a subject, and I used to be excited to go to agri. Unfortunately, I didn't get to continue with it when I went to Belmont. I got transferred to Belmont in Form 2.
how important you think it is to have that particular conversation as early as Form 1, Form 2, you know, having it in the schools in a major way? I know it's still there, but it's not an option in every school.
Of course, we have the 4-H clubs functional and stuff, but Jay, what we need to do is make agriculture a compulsory subject at both the primary school level and the secondary school level. Why I try to force that agenda is because you could change directions as a professional when you leave, you know, school, but you'll always need to eat good quality food, right? And my friend before in the interview, she would have already told you about all these type of chronic diseases we have and so much things that diet related. And what I would like schools to enforce, Jay, is to think about agriculture as a business, just like how you have the doctors and the lawyers and the engineers. Think about agriculture as a business. And do you know, Jay, that there are hundreds of subsectors of agriculture? When we say that term agriculture, we're speaking about crops, we're speaking about livestock, apiculture, aquaculture, permaculture, vermiculture, urban farming, forestry, ornamental, horticultural. There are so many spheres now of that term agriculture that each of us can get out of school successfully and start a business or own a business. And Jay, you would realize that no matter how much you study formally, there are certain things in life that you must know, some skills that you must have. And I believe one of them is growing safe and nutritious food. Yeah.
And how does Corpus Christi, in that regard, support your own home food security? We're talking just at home, yeah, doing this for the whole neighborhood. But Corpus Christi, right, you're going to plant, as you would have mentioned, how does it support that particular thrust?
What I believe is that it combines really the Catholic worship, and we shouldn't just take it about religion alone, right? It should be for everyone. But really focuses on the Catholic worship and processions with really local customs of planting and blessing the land, blending faith, culture, and farming all together. So that's really what Corpus Christi is about. But all of us here from all religions should adopt the same. And it shouldn't just be for one particular time of the year. We always should be interacted with nature. And you'd realize that many scientific studies that are coming out and say, hey, here's what, you need to touch the soil a bit more, you need to get out in nature, try to go in cleaner environments with all this extra pollution that we have in, get some exercise, get some sun for vitamin D production. Right, so you will see that all of these studies from all the different subsectors point in the get back to the land.
What you think is so important, because yes, there's the religious component, Corpus Christi, but there's a cultural component. There are folks who might not be of the faith, but they use Corpus Christi as a time to literally plant. So again, before we wrap things up, let's go through the must attempt crops, the ones that people will usually, they try their hand at it. I know you mentioned the sorrel and stuff, but what else? Give me the full scope before we break.
Right, so usually people around the household, they will look at things like tomatoes, hot pepper, bygone, okra, all the leafy greens. So you're talking about things like lettuce, pak choy, cauliflower, cabbage. Some people like myself, you will plant broccoli. Then you have like the mid-term kind of crops. So you have like plantain, ginger, you have your root crops, your cassava, dasheen, edos, sweet potato, yam. Right? And then you have your fruit trees, like you have Mami Seafood, you have guava, you have all the different types of citrus, your orange, your grapefruit, your Portugal, all the exotic fruits in the country, bilimbi, fat pork, all of these. Right? So that's the area and time to plant all of those. As much space as you have, try to plant. And the thing is not just to plant, but it gives you the responsibility of taking care of it afterwards. Right? So you have to plant. You have to water, you have to weed, you may have to spray depending on what crop you have, right? Or based on personal choice, right? You have to fertilize, you have to care for it, you might have to prune in some instances, right? And then you have to harvest. And when you harvest, you have to store the products, either fresh fruits or vegetables, properly. Because if you wait so long to harvest all of those and you don't store it properly, you start to disintegrate, you start to accumulate now food loss and food wastage, right?
Speaking about fruits, Riyadh, before we wrap things up, somebody tell me that apple growing now in Trinidad, there are people growing apple?
Yeah, I have some from here. Yeah, I think it's about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. We have imported some Wambugu apples and a couple other varieties. And yeah, I have clients right now with berry and apple fields. Yeah.
As an apple, that because
apple. Yeah, the Christmas fruit of long ago. Apple,
wow.
Yes.
And obviously, no grapes. That needs a different climate, obviously.
No, we growing grapes even before. We growing grapes about 10 years now, Jade.
Wow. Why living by? Riyadh,
you must live
everything growing. All right then. All right, Riyadh. Well, Corpus Christi greetings to you, my friend, and thank you so much for coming on.
Take care, Jade.
Yes, that's Riyadh there. Well, I tell you, there's something for everyone. The soil rich, yes. What I'm gonna do is before we're gonna go a little over 8 this morning, just in keeping with what's happening and what we would have seen via our front page. So let's head to some footage. We have South and I believe Arima in terms of the latest. This is some action from the Southland. As you can see, the green band maxi is there on a pause. Nothing happening, nobody moving. Officers obviously there in conversation. So I know South is being impacted. That's the green band and the brown band maxis. I know the brown, they do that Point Fortin route, and the green more or less that Sando Shogunas route. Heavy police presence. This is clearly South Park, where they are parked as we speak. I was seeing some of the businesses from the South Park location. So clearly maxis there parked. Let's head now to the Kweze, to Sawa. Always very busy, a major hub. Well, just one maxi pulling up and folks, orderly going in, trying to get into the maxi. I mean, we evolve, We are, I must say, we are treating with the maxis in a much better. I remember back in the day, people climbing in back window and thing, to get in maxi when the place tight. Well, look at people moving. Sawa doesn't seem to be in any particular state. People getting in the maxi. Look at small maxi pull up to the back. All right, so look, this man moving brisk to get it, yeah. So that's Sawa. Yeah, this maxi man pulling up. Now the question is, if he start the route from Sawa, or if he started from Arima. All right, do we have some more footage here, I believe? I think that's it. That's all we have so far. So, let's monitor what's happening. We'll stay on top of this story, and we'll bring more to you in our midday news, and then later on tonight at 7 p.m. for the main newscast. It's been a tremendous one. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. God spare, I'm back for more tomorrow. All the best, TNT. Let's have a great one today.